I haven't plateaued. You plateaued. Hi everyone, welcome back to another Scotty Karate video. Today I'm going to be talking about something that every martial artist goes through at some point during their training, and that's plateauing. So plateauing is simply the fact that you're going, and then all of a sudden you just don't see a lot of improvement. Now, this happens to everybody with everything. I'll use bodybuilding as an example. A lot of guys that work out will tell you the first, say, 6 months, you build muscle like crazy. You're skyrocketing. And then all of a sudden, your gains stop. Right? So you're sitting there and you're increasing your bench, and every time you go to the gym, you're adding at least 2 pounds, 5 pounds. And then you just get to a point where, yeah, I'm awesome. This is great. And then just, you can't add another pound. You're plateaued. Martial arts do this too. You'll be starting at the gym, you're starting at the dojo, you start doing great, you're learning, you're changing, your body's changing, you are learning, you're getting better, you're moving better, and then all of a sudden, and then nothing. And you feel like you're not progressing at all. What happened? Well, there's a few things that can happen that causes this. And more to the point, this happens to everyone, so we're going to be going over a few things that you might do to improve it, or get you out of that funk, as it were. So the first thing is going to be training partners. Now, this is hard because if you've started your dojo, say you've been there 5 years, right? You just got your black belt, or maybe you're going for your black belt. You've been there long enough. You know everyone very well. You've trained with them all the way up. And now you're plateaued. You don't feel like you're improving. Now, this might necessarily be an issue for your dojo, your training partners, but you feel like you need to progress. You're just stuck. Now, it might not necessarily be the fact that they're not good. They might be very good. They might be even better than you. The old adage, just, training against people that are better than you brings you to that level. There is some truth to it, but it only goes so far, because at some point you know them well enough that changes, right? You can't progress as fast with those same partners. So you need new people, new blood, as it were. Well, the good news is most martial art dojos, you have that rotation of people. Old people that used to be in the dojo coming back, new people coming in, other styles wanting to change styles. You always have that flux. So you always have that kind of different, people different, move differently, different sizes, shapes. You have that variation. But at some point, that well kind of dries up. You know what I mean? So a way to do it, to get around that, is to simply go to another school. Now, this might be as simple as going to another school to learn, to say maybe a new style, or it might be simply just to train with them, spar with them. A lot of places, you'd be surprised how easy and accepting they are of someone who's wanting to come in and spar, or, have a friendly, encounter. Not go and lay down a challenge. I challenge your dojo to a fight. No. But talking to them, hey, I do, Goju Ryu, and you do Taekwondo. I just want to spar and, see how we're different, and see if you can find openings, and see if I can find openings, and just progress and learn. That is a really easy way of taking your abilities to the next level almost instantly, because you're going to be exposed to a lot of different styles, a lot of different techniques, a lot of different ways of doing things like that. Next up, alternate training. Now, this can be a few different things depending on what you're doing and what style and so on, but the reality is just change things up. So to go back to our working out or weightlifting analogy, if you've done the same bicep curls every, 2 days or whatever your regimen is, and you don't see any improvement, well, it's not necessarily the exercise that's the issue. The exercise is still probably doing you good. It's just not giving you the results that you're looking for. You might need to change it up. Maybe do drop sets. Maybe do a different type of bicep curl. Maybe different position. In versus out. So on. Varying it up. And just usually that little variation or adding it in makes a world of difference. Well, how does that translate to martial arts? Well, it could be simply you do a different sport. So if you're for example, if you're in martial arts and you're in karate and you're noticing that your agility just isn't what you want it to be, well, you can take a book out of Jean-Claude Van Damme's book and go join ballet. I mean, if you don't know that about him, that's one of the things he contributes his flexibility and his ability to move smoothly to, was the fact that he did ballet, he did dance. Not something I'm interested in, but the reality is if it's something that you're looking forward to change your body up and give you that extra flexibility and, smoothness of your moves, that might be a good one. But the reality of going to something else, take what you know and adding it to something else, take what you learn and bringing it back, is never a bad thing. You'd be surprised how many people will take another sport, say they do baseball, softball, football, whatever, and they take something that they know from that and they bring it in. Right? So this is one of the classic cases. This is why wrestlers in high school, for example, do so well in jiu-jitsu. One, it's similar, they're similar activities, but they're able to use their current knowledge with the new sport they're in, such as going from wrestling to jiu-jitsu. It's not foreign, they are able to bring that with them. So changing things up, learning a different ability, sport, hobby, might actually help your karate. And third and final one, you might just be moving slow. Sorry. I know that sucks. I know you don't want to hear that. I know you're like, Scott, how dare you tell me that? I'm awesome. I'm not saying you're not awesome. You're probably awesome. But everyone goes through this where it just gets to a point where your gains, as it were, slow down. So, bodybuilding analogy today, you have that 6-month window where you're just cranking and building muscle and getting stronger and your body's changing very quickly. And then all of a sudden, you plateau. Something happens. And you're not building muscle near as much. This happens to everybody with just about everything. Now, the difference between a straight plateau where you're not getting any better and a slow plateau where you're getting better, it's just so much slower or slower than you want, is worlds different. If you're not progressing at all, even with, renewed vigorous activity, so you're trying different things, but still plateaued, that's an issue. Some you have to work on, such as previous two examples. But if you're still progressing, it's just slow. Understand that most people have this time period, have this period. I can't tell you how many times I've been in martial arts and I feel like I'm making great progress, and then all of a sudden, and just stagnant. And you'd be surprised how often people stay in that. Some, a month, some, years, some, the rest of their life. They will still progress, but it's just slow. It's not the big straight up like it was at the beginning. That's normal. Don't get discouraged. It's always interesting to see the difference. So stick with my bodybuilding scenario here. I have a story. Story time.
It's story time.
I have a buddy in the military. He got out and we worked out together. Went to the gym, every 2 or 3 days, a couple times a week anyway, together. And he was big and strong, as you can probably imagine. And his favorite thing to do was bench press. Every time we went, we did bench press. Probably shouldn't have. He should have worked on other muscle groups, but the reality is he wanted to do bench press. That's the thing in his head that he wanted to work on. Maybe he wanted a bigger chest. Maybe he thought it was a problem. Don't know. It doesn't matter. But the reality is we started off, and I'm going to use fake numbers because I don't remember, to tell you the truth. Let's say he was bench pressing 225. And we went for about a year. And within that year, he got to about 245. I mean, he progressed. 20 pounds is pretty good. And all of a sudden, just nothing. He stayed right there forever. And at one point, he got so frustrated that he just started adding extra weights to it and just trying to, push through it, as it were. And actually ended up causing more problems. He was lucky and didn't get an injury. Now, that could have easily have happened and caused issues. But what happened is he actually started getting weaker because he was actually causing so much trauma, I guess we'll say, to his shoulders and chest trying to do this. And he was straining so hard to do it, he was burning himself up, as it were. So the next time he went in, he was still sore. So when he started doing it again, he couldn't do even what he did last time because his muscles were still sore, which frustrated him even more, right? And become this big snowball side effect, right? Just kept going down the spiral. And one day I suggested, I was like, dude, let's forget the bench press. Let's do something else. I was like, well, how about today we do a push-up challenge? You know, you do 20, I do 20, you do 20, I do 20, and we do this until one of us drops out and we can't do anymore, right? Just make a game out of it. He was like, okay, let's do that. Now, still work chest, still work shoulders, but it was a different way, different set of muscle groups. It wasn't quite the exact same. We also varied it up just to make it fun. We did incline, decline, so on. Had a good time. We worked out. Next time we came in, he's right back to normal. He gave his body the different time to heal, and he had the different exercise that probably actually helped him. It's all those things you have to keep mentally focused, right? You can't get discouraged when you hit that brick wall and you look around and you're like, everybody else is progressing, but I'm not. They're different than you. Know this. It might take you a little longer to get there, but you'll get there as long as you're persistent. So you should change things up. You have a few different reasons why. Maybe one will work for you. Hope you like his video. If you have any comments or anything you think I missed, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, if you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell on the way out. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And, as always, the more you train, the easier to fight.